What's going on, guys? Dan Cal here with Liquidation Pros. I'm joined tonight with my co-host Chris from Liquidation Ohio, LiquidationOH on YouTube.
What's going on, guys? Dan Cal here with
Rookie move.
Pros. I'm joined tonight.
Thought I muted that. And basically on this channel, we're talking all things liquidation on a weekly Thursday night basis. If you're new, we started this last week and the week prior to that on Chris's channel. He did an introduction of me, a lot of details about how I got started. So you're going to go back and check that out. I put a link down below to his channel, as well as a link to that first video of last week. But basically, myself and Chris, we buy bulk liquidation with the purpose of reselling Amazon, eBay. I don't do a whole lot of Mercari, but just getting started on Poshmark. He does a lot of Poshmark. So we're giving lots of tips, tricks, and each week we're going to cover a different topic. So Chris, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right, thanks, Dan. Yeah, you basically hit it all in the head. Buy bulk liquidation, thrift as well. Basically anything I could buy for cheap, sell for a profit. My main specialty is probably electronics. So you're talking about VCRs, video games, hard goods, that sort of thing. I just started dabbling in clothes. I love jerseys. Jerseys are kind of my other specialty. So working with closeout wholesalers, retailers, getting jerseys and all that. So to be able to go deep in SKU on single items with multiple sizes, I love doing that. And we'll talk a little bit tonight about going into buying bulk and seeing how to process it, etc.
Yep. So tonight's topic, we're going to cover the logistics of buying and bulk liquidation. What type of labor you need to expect, whether it's the labor that you're going to have to handle, or if you're getting help, and then as well as what type of space you can work out of. So those are our topics for tonight. Before we get into that, we normally do a quick update. We have like a weekly update from what's happened since the last week. We'll kind of touch on how our sales have been, and then if we've done any listing this week. We'll get deep into our topic, and then we'll talk about our upcoming week and what our plans are. So real quick for me, on Saturday, I got a huge DJ equipment lot off of Craigslist I found. And this is going back to some of my tips when people are looking to source locally. Craigslist is still working for me. Typed in the search huge lot, about 10 listings down, somebody was selling basically a storage unit full of new old stock DJ equipment. Some of it's used, but most of it's new. It's like MIDIs, different devices you would connect prior to your mixer. I don't even know a whole lot about DJ equipment, but the good thing is with the different apps, Amazon, eBay, you can scan the barcodes and look them right up. And that was estimated about $10,000 of worth of value. I think it's about $6,000 in resale. And I picked that up for $2,000. So should be able to easily double my money. It's probably going to take about 6 months to a year to sell. But the cool thing about it, Chris, is it doesn't, for a lot of these products, there's not a lot of sellers on Amazon. So I was thinking about sending some in because they're like new but damaged box. They're still sealed, a lot of them. Send them in as used like new condition and seeing how that goes compared to, I'll do eBay too, but to take some of the, if I have 20 or 30 of the same item, eBay, that might take a year, but if I could split it up and do half on eBay and half on Amazon, and then if Amazon starts to sell well, I can always pull more out of my eBay inventory and send it in.
Do you, so when you send stuff FBA, do you merchant fulfill from eBay?
No, I don't. I would pull them out of my inventory here and then send them in FBA. I pretty much do 99% all FBA.
Do you cross post from FBA to eBay or no?
No,
okay.
No cross posting, no drop shipping, nothing like that. It's either I have the product and I'm shipping it out directly to customer, or I ship it to FBA and let Amazon deal with it.
Do you have any products coming in this weekend, anything?
This week, I'm pretty much taking the week off. I have a big deal that I'm working on. I just got approved to be a vendor for a major outdoor sporting company to deal with some of their liquidation stuff. So don't know a whole lot of details yet, but yesterday I was sending all the paperwork, the resale license and all that. And it was like basically a warm, you call it like a warm call. I know a friend who knows a friend who knows the vice president of the company. So basically shot him an email, said, hey, I know you've this way. This is what my business does now. I mean, I met the guy a couple times. I didn't realize he was the VP of this company. And long story short, he got right back to me and said, yeah, I mean, I can hook you up. Deal with, he's from Canada. The company's out of Canada, but they have their major, they have like 6 brands under their umbrella. And he put me in touch with the regional sales manager. They put me in touch with the person I need to get approved to be a vendor for. And once all that's done, he's going to start emailing me what they got to liquidate. So
Nice.
not too sure what the pricing is going to be like or what to expect, but that's I've been working on that. And right now I have more inventory than I can handle.
And you got a pallet of shoes, right?
Yep. I got actually 2 pallets of shoes.
Nice.
So when we later on tonight, if everyone doesn't know, after this show, we're all going to switch back over to Chris's channel. He's going to do a liquidation.com shoe pallet unboxing. He's got 1 giant box left. And during that process, I'm going to switch over to my other computer, and you'll get to see my mountain of shoes as well. While you're working, I'm going to work on mine. Kind of have like a working hangout.
Yeah. So to your point, I bought 2 half pallets of shoes. They put them on 1 pallet. So I'm processing the second pallet, which you'll see tonight. I also have a closeout. Well, I say closeout. It's a vendor that I'm bought from that makes their own hats. And they have deals with all the major car manufacturers, as well as I think like 40 some colleges. So I'm getting a box full of hats, and I forget how many I ordered, but that should be here tomorrow.
And they came from a college, you said?
No, this is from a supplier down in Georgia. So they make all their hats.
College hats.
What's that?
College hats.
College hats, car brand hats, so like Dodge, Ford, Chevy, camo hats, and I'm getting those tomorrow.
Sweet.
Actually, a vendor I met through Off Price. It's like ASD, but that was in Vegas.
What about your sales? How have your sales been this past week since last time we talked?
Today's been junk. I've probably had 2 or 3 today. Before today, probably between 10 and 8 a day since Thursday.
Yeah, I'm seeing, like, I do a lot of comparing with eBay because I'm pretty much on par with the amount of inventory that I had in eBay last year. And I actually have more inventory listed now than I did last year. And I'm about 30% down on my monthly sales. So seeing a bit of a decline. A lot of that too is because of I'm kind of selling out and running out of the winter apparel, and also people aren't buying as much winter stuff, and I have a lot of that listed, and I need to be shifting more into like the spring, golf, baseball, sporting, all that type of thing. So eBay's down, but Amazon, I looked, I'm up 100% compared to last year. So I pretty much doubled in sales in the last 30 days. So that's good.
It's awesome.
I'm hoping to do, my annual goal is to do like 20% increase from last year.
That's awesome. I've been trying to ramp up my my Amazon listings. I've been sending a lot more books in. So I'm up on Amazon, just not no sales today there.
And then I don't know if you saw my video last week, I think it was, when I tried to retail arbitrage BrickSeek looking for those calculators. So,
oh yeah, I did see that.
You know, didn't do very well, but I did come across those Garmin VO Fit Juniors for the kids will wear, and like the parents can see what's going on with the app. And they were clearance regularly from 60 to 30. And normally it's not a big enough margin for me because they were selling eBay for around 50. My hope was to get ungated on Garmin and Amazon. I didn't think I would, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab them because they're still selling, like I said, for 50, and it's super lightweight, first class. So the cool thing is, though, I put them for $49.95, and all 6 of them sold within the week. So I was only making like 10 to 12 bucks profit. So normally I wouldn't spend 30 to make 12 bucks, but they're all brand new, and it was super easy flip.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't subbed to Dan's channel, hopefully head down there, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button while you're at it. But Dan, how do you price out, if you're looking at liquidation, either on certain websites or through your relationships, how do you look at the logistics of getting stuff, what you buy to you?
What was the last part of it? Look at what?
How do you look at the logistics part of, okay, I like what I see in this, the pallet, it's a box. What are certain things you have to think about when not only looking at an auction, but when you're going to win it?
All right, so a couple things to consider, and I'll list them, and then we can go back into each one. But a couple bullet points I had was the shipping of it, the payment method, what type of payment method do they accept, when you can schedule the shipment, how flexible they are, because someone like myself, I don't have a garage. It basically gets dropped in my driveway, and I have to process it there and work out of my basement. So that there's probably a lot of other, smaller sellers that might have an issue like that. So you want to consider that, like planning ahead with the weather and things of that nature. And then lastly, what type of help would you need? Is it just a small couple lots or a couple boxes from liquidation.com, or are you getting pallets? And if you're getting pallets, it'd be nice to have one or two people helping you process it and bring it in. So we can jump into shipping. A lot of things you want to consider when you're looking at them is, where is the lot located? Because based on where it's located is going to be how much you're going to have to pay in shipping. So I typically am buying pallets because I find there's most profit margin in pallets, and I have to look at the freight on that. I have to pay for a residential delivery and a lift gate, so I have to consider that when I'm doing my shipping pricing analysis. And then I also have to look at what type of flexibility they have for delivery. I know you're just getting into the pallets and stepping up a little bit. What else do you consider when you're thinking about the shipping of the orders?
So I think a big thing is, you said is residential. There's a residential fee alone, probably averages about $40. You have to add in a lift gate fee as well. So that's also getting it from the truck. They have a lift gate that comes out, and it basically is an elevator for the pallet to get it off the truck. If you do not have a dock high where the big tractor trailer can back up and they can drop a pallet on your dock, you're going to get charged about $80 off the bat. So to Dan's point, you got to account for that and location. So I started, when I bought my first wholesale toys lot, I bought it from a person in Vegas, or company in Vegas. No, LA, I'm sorry, LA. And the getting it from LA to here with the residential fee is going to eat largely in your profits. So look into where the people are that you're buying from and how much it will cost you. And it does not hurt to ask the person, hey, if I were to buy X pounds or 3 pallets, what would the cost be? They should be able to ballpark a cost for you. And you can look at setting up your own shipping. But the big thing is learning shipping, because that will eat into a large portion of your profits.
And then for me, so let's say you figured it out, the shipping makes sense of what they're trying to charge you. Once it leaves, it's paid for. Normally the place is going to take a day or two to ship it out, and then you're looking, depending on how far it is. It normally will go to a hub or a distribution center, and then they'll call you when it's there, and it'll ship out from that point. Most of the time, they won't let you have it at that center for more than 5 to 7 days, or they'll start charging you. So you have to be prepared to take that shipment once they say it's arrived. And the other thing you have to consider is they're going to want to give you a window. Some places will say 9 to 5. Some places can give you a more like 4-hour window, and you can pick in the morning or the afternoon. I know yours was like from 5 to 7 or 5 to 9, which I've never seen anyone deliver that late. So that's kind of cool. Awesome. For me, it's normally, either a daytime, early afternoon or later afternoon. And I work from home on Tuesdays as it is for my corporate job. And then on Fridays, I work full time on the business. So Fridays and Saturdays, but they don't deliver on the weekend. So a lot of times I'm trying to schedule it either on Tuesday so I can accept the shipment, or Friday. What I'll do is when they call me, I'll look at the weather right away while I'm on the phone with them and make the decision on what's looking better as far as the shipment goes. Now, Tuesday here when the shoes came, it was clear, but it was like the high was like 30 degrees. It's been pretty cold this week, but obviously I didn't let that scare me off. I wanted to get it here, get it unloaded, and avoid any kind of rain or anything like that can affect the goods and unbox them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing you got to think about, right? When you're getting, not only you got to do the legwork to get it to you. A lot of times, so this last one I bought, I had to call the trucking company and schedule my appointment. I don't know if they got my phone number wrong, or I had to call them up and say, hey, I see it's in your building. When can I get it? So I had to schedule the appointment not only for pickup, but for delivery. And once you get that delivery coming in, you want to think ahead. You always planning ahead. If you don't have a spot to put it, if you think about it, what's a pallet? 48 by 40?
Yeah, they have like 2 or 3 different sizes, but that's the most common one.
Yeah, so it's 48 by 40 inches, and you think it could be anywhere from 2 feet tall to 8 to 10 feet tall. So that's a ton of product, and especially if you buy a pallet, you can get boxes. You can get boxes of product, which is a lot easier. So you think about shoes, you can unbox them and throw them wherever you want to. But if you buy a Gaylord product, which is basically a big box, it's a 6 to 8 feet tall box, 48 by 40. You have to get that somewhere. Now, if you don't have a garage, I bring all my stuff into my garage, and I can close the door and I can take my time. It does get cold, so I have to think about if stuff can't withstand those temperatures, I have to get it into my house as quick as possible. But if you're putting it in your driveway and you have nowhere to put it, you have to do the work to get that into your house. So that's something you want to think ahead.
Yep. And normally I have to do all that work, what you're explaining. I don't have even steps from the outdoors down to my basement. So I'm bringing all my product through the house, which is a whole lot of work. I've actually been looking into, and we'll talk more about space later, but I've been pricing some commercial spaces, but right now where I'm at, it just doesn't make sense. If anything, I'm thinking it makes more sense to build a 2-car garage. That way we can wheel them right into there, as opposed to paying someone else. Because I really like the at-home business part of it. I feel like if I was at a warehouse, it's going to be more like a job and just more headaches, more liabilities, all that stuff. But we can talk about that in a moment. Right now I have, help. So help, workers, assistants, whatever you want to call it. Basically, when I know a shipment's coming, I have 4 people on my list where I can text a group and just say, hey guys, Tuesday from 2 to 6, I have a shipment coming. Is anyone available any period during that time? Because if they do come a little bit early and it's not here yet, I have other stuff they can do. But it's a good way to get a heads up out there, so they can start to plan. And then when it is here, it's great to have that extra hand to help move stuff, carry stuff, sort, whatever it is. Now, Tuesday, I actually recruited my 7-year-old daughter to help me, and I was bringing the shoes in, and she was sorting them out. So that was actually a big help.
So let's talk about that. You say, hey guys, the pallet's coming in. Pallet gets here. What do they start doing?
It depends on the product and what the pallet actually is. Most of the stuff I'm buying is not like you described, the loose Gaylord products. I have bought those before, but you really have to be planned and prepared for that, because you're going to spend a couple hours breaking that down into smaller boxes that you can move around and sorting it. Now, like you said, if you have a garage where you can wheel it right into there, that's fine because you can process it over a couple days. But I'm basically normally more of I'm doing the grunt work. I'm moving the inventory, and as it's coming into the house, they're starting to sort it out, looking quickly for any defects, sorting either by brands, whether it's a clothing product, or sometimes I get mixed goods, so it could be a little bit of every category. So they're starting to do some sorting. And based on most lots I buy have a manifest, which is a list of all the products. And also a lot of times we'll have the categories. I will have a game plan ahead of time. So where I can hey, as we're breaking this down, this is what I'm looking for. These are premium items that I want to kind of put to the side so I can start working on right away. And then these are items that immediately are either yard sale, flea market, or we're going to deal with them later. I need to, I don't have the room to process everything all at once. So that's kind of how I have to do it.
And you said a key point there is you process it as you're opening it, right?
Right.
You can go through it. You can put stuff. You can see what everything's in there. And then you're going to go back and touch it again. You're going to move stuff around. You're going to touch it again. When you're processing not only your thrift, let's say you bring thrift home, right? You go to the thrift store, get all your shirts or whatever you have, hard goods. You get your pallet in. You're bringing that stuff. You want to be able to say, I want to process. So for me, like you said, I start going through my shoe palette and I say, okay, these are brand new. I'm going to set these here. These are brand new, but I need to clean the soles because someone walked around the store with them. I'm going to put those here. These are my defective ones. I'm going to put those here. So you want to kind of have your different buckets or categories and set them as you go, because if you start doing a lot of volume, time is something you're going to have to fight. So you want to minimize the amount of time that you're dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, and going up to Renegade Thrifter's point, he says he started with toys and a lot of cell phone accessory pallets. They're a lot of work. I actually bought probably 12 pallets of Gaylords of cell phone cases in the past 4 or 5 years since the business started. And going back to what I said, those days I had to plan ahead and make sure it was a decent day. A lot of times it would be like spring, summer, fall. I wouldn't do it so much in the winter because we would process them outside, and I would have like most likely 6 to 10 Home Depot or Lowe's, the big moving boxes set up, and we would write the brands on each one. And then 2 or 3 people would help me pull through those Gaylords, and we break out the Spec or the Otterbox, the Life Proof, and what at the time what other name brand stuff was selling. And then anything that was just like the cheaper stuff that's either flea market or sell in bulk would go and they'd all just get mixed together, like under $10 or whatever I decided. But the point to that is, I had a game plan and I had people involved that could help me. It's really hard to go at those types of Gaylords on your own. And it's a lot of work, which if you're up for it, it can certainly be done. But I would make sure you have some sort of setup for handling it. And worst case scenario, I had a delivery coming and they were calling for a lot of rain. I was literally on my way or planning to go up to the sporting goods store and buy a pop-up, just a shield, like a pop-up tent, so I could protect the inventory from getting rained on while I was, unboxing it and getting ready to move it inside. But luckily the radar kind of cleared up and it was just drizzling, so I didn't need to go buy it.
So someone had a question. Do you get any neighbor complaints, shipments, big trucks coming in a residential area? Do you have any issues with that?
No, most of the neighbors we're pretty close with. They all know what I'm up to, so I could see that is a good point for logistics, though. You should consider that with shipping. You are legally, unless it's a no truck through route, you are legally allowed to have shipments. I mean, people buy refrigerators and stuff like that, furniture that gets delivered all the time. If you're doing a residential delivery with liftgate, in most scenarios, you can require them to come in the smaller size, like the 28-foot box truck, and not the full size tractor trailer. The trucks that come through my neighborhood don't have too much of an issue with that. I do have a story about one of the trucks taking down the power lines up the road, but we'll save that for another time. So yeah, most of the time I don't have any issues with the neighbors, and they all know what I'm up to.
So mine actually asked me when I set up my delivery to my house. They said, "Hey, do you have any issues with trucks coming down your street?" That sort of thing. So you want to think about. I said no. We're on one of the wider streets in the city, so I said there's no issues. You can bring a 28-foot trailer down the street. To Dan's point, you might come down to a box truck if they have to. Think about someone bringing a pallet jack, right? So pallet jacket product. If you have a big incline in your driveway, big decline, you're going to want to tell them that up front so they can plan for you. You don't want the driver come to say, "Hey, I can't deliver your load. I'm going to have to do something else and come back." It's just a hassle for you to reschedule it.
And normally you're going to end up with a lot of the same delivery companies, whether it's UPS Freight or some of the main chain companies that deliver, R&L carriers. So there's a bunch of other guys that we use. I've pretty much seen the same people over and over again. A lot of times they deliver for a route, so you're on their route. Once you get them once, you'll probably get them again unless they're off. And they know what to expect. Now, as to your point about the incline and decline, from the roadway, my house is inclined probably 30 feet over maybe like 100-foot driveway. So pretty steep. And what I actually have to, I talk to them ahead of time, like, "Hey, can we try to get it up to the house?" And I'll get behind it and push it while they're pulling the pallet jack up. Once or twice they showed up with a motorized pallet jack, and that wasn't an issue.
Oh,
But
there you go. Yeah.
they're not required to. They only have to drop it at the street and the intersection of your driveway. They don't have to take it anywhere. So keep that in mind. The shoe pallet, the guy was not interested in bringing it up to the house at all.
Really?
Yeah. I said, "Come on, man, I'll buy you a nice lunch if you can help me out. We can do it." I was like, I get pallets delivered here all the time. It's not an issue. He's like, "These are like 900 pounds a piece." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm telling you, these are light compared to clothing." I was like, "I'll buy you lunch, man." He's like, "All right." So I ended up giving him $20 when he was on his way out.
Well, there you go.
But you know, I'd always tip all the drivers, 10, anywhere from 10 to $20 if they bring them up.
Yeah.
Depending on how many pallets it is. And like normally I'm only buying on average probably 2 pallets, sometimes 3 or 4, sometimes just 1. So
Yeah. And I take you process everything right there in your driveway to get in the house.
Not so much. We process a lot of it downstairs. It depends on what it is. Like clothing, mixed clothing, I'm just bringing the boxes straight into the house, and then they start processing them inside.
Right.
But I mean, and that's more in the winter. If it was nicer out, I would probably do more outside. But
Right.
now, these past few months have been pretty brutal. But yeah, so before we move on to your space, I mean, the last thing is like, can you get temporary help? How do you plan on processing the goods? And then furthermore, you also got to figure the listing, the photo after you tested or inspected it. You got to list it. If it's clothing, you got to bag it after it's listing. There's a lot of steps that are involved, and you really, if you're getting into this, the next step up, which is the pallet game, you're going to need help, and you definitely couldn't do truckloads on your own. There's no way.
So going back to how did you do your first pallet? Do you remember how you said, I'm going to bring this in? How'd you do it yourself?
Yeah, I talked to the guy, went and looked at him, and basically said, is it okay if I break them down in your warehouse? So can I take them apart and put them into a pickup truck as opposed to bringing like a box truck and having them loaded into that? Because at the time, rental trucks were crazy high. They've come down a bit now, but it's like $600 to $800 for a 1-day rental. And I know now you can get them closer to like 3 or 4. Now this is for a Penske commercial liftgate height, which is what you need. And I was able to go in the warehouse with boxes, and it was all the Toys R Us video game stuff. And I was able to take and fill boxes up and then move it into the truck. And there was a lot of loose, like the bigger guitars and stuff, I just put right in there. So but you're not always going to be able to do that. That's how I got into it. But you may, depending on the situation, have to rent a truck and go back up to the loading dock and have them put it onto your truck, because most people's insurance won't cover someone who's not an employee there
On your dock.
getting hurt on their commercial property.
Right.
Especially if they allow you to come in and work on something.
And that's another way to when you're first starting out and you want to save on shipping charges, you can ask, can I come to your dock, break down the pallet and put it in my car, my truck? You can save that way.
And a lot of the places will have a ramp like next to their docks, and they will actually bring it out into the parking lot and drop it there and say, hey, it's all yours. You do what you want with it at this point. So,
and that's what they do on liquidation.com. If you go pick up their warehouse, I think they bring it out to your car, and they let you stack it in your car however you want to do it.
Yep.
But
so
there's different ways to save on shipping that way.
They're removing the liability of having you in their warehouse and with
right.
forklifts running around and stuff. Now, with that same guy, I went up to his Pennsylvania warehouse, which is north of me, and that's when I got the 24 pallets. But the only way I can make that happen is if they let me break it down. There's no other way of me doing that. So he reached out to the manager of that warehouse, and this is like, there's probably 30 people in this place working. They're doing 10 to 15 truckloads a day that are coming in, getting repackaged, inspected, and shipped off overseas. So they allowed me to come in, but it was crazy because there was a random that day there was like a random regional inspector going around, and he came to the warehouse, and they're like, who are you? I was like, oh, I know so-and-so, and they're, I don't know him. I'm like, well, he knows blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, okay. What are you doing all this stuff? I'm like, well, it's supposed to be out of your warehouse. It's taking up space, and they hired me to get rid of it. And he's like, oh, okay, that sounds good. He left me alone, but that was, we were kind of like, oh crap. Like, we've been here. It was a 2-day trip. We've rented a truck, and I had a lot of time. I had a helper, a lot of money invested in this deal. So it almost went kaput pretty quickly, but luckily the guy put 2 and 2 together and was like, okay, yeah, get it out of here.
So, those are some things you want to think about. It never hurts to ask questions. You always want to ask questions the person you're buying from or the company you're buying from. Can I pick up? Can I get delivered? Can I break it down? Can I set up my own shipping? What's your shipping? So those are many different ways to slice it, but don't be afraid to ask before you buy.
Excuse me. And then the last thing we can cover is what type of space do you have? You want to think about that when you are buying. If you're just getting started, I would always recommend something smaller than the pallet. Like liquidation.com is a great place to start. There's other sites, like I know Balk offers like a one box you can get that's not quite a pallet size. There's other companies you can buy like piecemeal. They'll sell $1,000 worth of cosmetics or whatever it may be. You can Google and find different places, but really be sure to do your research on the products they're offering you. A lot of those places are already marked the stuff up so high, there's not a whole lot of room. But you could do a smaller lot out of your bedroom, and then if you had something like a spare bedroom, if you have like a shed or a storage unit, myself with the basement, you have basically a garage and a basement, so you're double dipping.
Yeah.
But then I actually rent a house, so a 1,600 square foot house that is only costing me about $100 a month more than what my storage unit was.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cheap. And like I said earlier, I looked into some warehouse spaces. For me, around here, the cheapest I could find is like $1,600 a month, and most of them are over 2,000.
Yeah.
It's, I know how much more sales I need to do to pay just that overhead for that spot, not counting utilities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, for me, I'm not trying to grow to that point right now. I'm thinking I could probably. My dad's a contractor, and I was talking to him about a garage, and he was saying like, depending on what I wanted, 30 to 50 grand, we could do a 2-car garage. So
there you go.
Thinking
And
about
basically that's what I use now. Put it in the garage. I don't have to process it. If I don't want to, I can just leave it in the garage, but I have to park a car outside. So, and then it says I want to sell it. It says however bad I want my space back is how quickly I break it down and sell it. That's another thing. You gotta understand process time. How quick am I going to sell it? Do I have the capital to buy another one? Right. So those are the three things: cash you have, and getting it out of your house.
Exactly. And then if you're looking into stepping up, if you've been, maybe you're at the point that I'm at, and you're, considering upgrading. I've looked. LoopNet has a lot of it's LoopNet. They have a lot of commercial properties. It's like Zillow for commercial. So you can go to LoopNet, or I look more on Craigslist because I feel like I'm dealing with not a big, a big company. It's more
Right.
like someone just trying to rent a garage or small. Like a lot of people will have like a triple bay big facility, and they just want to rent 1/3 of it or something like that. So that's kind of what I was looking for. And then obviously Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, you can look for space there. But really, these are just all things you need to kind of be thinking as you're deciding on what you want to buy or how big the load is going to be that you order.
Right. You got to think about, okay, how am I going to process to get this in, and how am I going to process it to sell it? And it grows exponentially about how much help you have. So if you can get help to break it down, help to process it, help to list it, you can process a lot more. You can buy a lot more.
Exactly.
So it's all a learning game.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions for us about the topic, go ahead and put them in chat or down in the comments below if you're watching this after the live video. We've been pretty consistent now, 3 Thursdays in a row, so we're looking to do this every week. Hope you guys enjoying it. We're going to get ready to jump off of here. If we answer any questions, go over to your channel. So everyone make sure probably 10, 15 minutes after this ends, you think?
Yeah. And we're going to be talking shoes, breaking down my pallet. Dan, we're going to see your shoes, right, that you bought?
Yeah, mine will be piled up behind me, and I'll start going through mine as well. So
Okay.
you're doing more of an unboxing. Mine, you're going to see 20, 30, the same exact type, and I'm just going to be looking through them as I'm watching you.
It would be interesting to see, too, the comparison, right? Because I got mine from liquidation.com. You have a lot of deep SKUs, same brand.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see the difference.
Exactly.
So.
Did you see any questions that we didn't hit?
No. I mean, a lot of someone bought a pop-up tent. Looks like that's how they processed it. Someone's a Bear fan, but they said the jersey was a bad buy.
Uh-oh.
I know I can't sell it.
Well, I appreciate everyone coming to join us on my channel, and like Chris said before, we'll alternate channels for now until we figure out a better game plan. But I think this is working pretty well.
I agree. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to Dan's channel, hit the like button and the bell. Let us know when you go live. not only Thursdays, but whenever he does go live during the week.
So we'll call it quits now, but everyone head over to Chris's channel. We'll see you guys there for a live unboxing of a liquidation.com shoe pallet, and then a working hangout of me just kind of processing the shoes that I got. So appreciate everyone for joining. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, that bell so you can follow us along. Go over to Chris's channel. I know most of you already subscribed there. I see a lot of familiar faces, but for those that are just finding me or Chris, make sure you follow both of us so we can help you out with your liquidation journey.
All right. Thanks, Dan, for having me.
See you guys.
See ya.